This week marks 2 full years since I last dyed my hair, and as of yesterday, with a fresh haircut, I am now 100% dye free, meaning the last of the little ends that were still there finally got cut off yesterday. So this I can officially say that this is 100% my hair with no hair dye left. Technically, I considered my hair journey, the gray hair transition, basically over in the fall when I got a hair trim, and there was just a tiny little bit left because I knew that I was going to always, or at least for now, have darker hair at the bottom. So I would always have a little bit of that two-tone, and that's what it looked like after my last haircut. However, it is pretty exciting to mark 2 years since the last time I dyed my hair and to know that officially all of this hair is mine. So I thought I would give you a look at, okay, what does my hair actually look like now that all of the dyed hair has been chopped off, and also just check in 2 years later what it's been like. So I'll do a little 360 so you can see what does my hair look like right now. All right. As you can see, I definitely have salt and pepper going on. I have since earlier on in this. I noticed that that was my pattern, but you can definitely tell that on the sides, still a lot of brown. So very, very dark at the sides and at the back. However, as you can see with the sides, definitely a lot more gray. And because of the way it's styled right now, which day 2 hair after the style is holding up pretty well, that there's definitely a gradient. So when it's curled like this, you can see that there are some more, I don't want to call them streaks, but there are some denser parts of the gray in contrast with the dark. And I have to say that recently I went to a meal, and when I caught myself in the mirror in certain light, I just thought, I genuinely really love my hair. And I feel so grateful that I love my hair as much as I do. I am really happy with it. It definitely looks different depending on the light. So whether I'm inside, lower light, versus if I'm outside, the bright sun, it definitely looks much, much lighter, but I like it no matter what. And I just so happy that I made this decision to do this. The decision was not 2 years ago. 2 years ago was the last haircut, followed quickly by dread that the hair salons were closed, because I used to genuinely feel upset and frustrated about 2 weeks after I would get my root touch-up done. I would look in the mirror and I would start to see that line of gray coming in, having no idea, obviously, what my natural hair was going to look like. I just saw that my fresh dye job is now coming out and I have this clear delineation, and it would genuinely upset me. It was a big stressor in my life, and the idea of ever growing out my hair was not something I would have considered if I wasn't forced to confront it. But it has made me extremely grateful that I did decide to just see what happens. And I know that if you are someone right now who has been dyeing your hair and you're on the fence, it might feel like, I don't think I can do that. And I 100% appreciate that feeling because I was there. And it's not something I necessarily would have chosen if the circumstances were different. But I can say that right now, 2 years later, and I am 40 years old, I am so happy that I made this decision. And I not only really love how my hair looks, I just feel better about the fact that I trusted my body and decided to say, whatever my hair looks like, that's what it looks like, and I'm going to be fine, and I'm going to look fine. I have also noticed there are other people in my life who have embraced their natural hair, and I think they look stunning. And it's just something that I know is not right for everyone, but if you've been wavering, I just have to say it feels really good on the other side. And the other thing is, if you decide to do this, yes, it takes a while. It absolutely takes a while, but it's not permanent. If you decide that this is not right for you, you can absolutely go backwards. But if you are on the fence, I just want to say, give it a good amount of time. The other thing that I was reflecting on recently as I come up on this 2-year anniversary is that people weren't mean. I did not have random strangers telling me that I look unkempt. I did have a few people on YouTube say girls shouldn't go gray, it'll make them look old. Whatever, I don't care about those comments. But in the real world, people were not rude or disrespectful to me, and most people have been complimentary. If they say anything at all, most people are so preoccupied with their own stuff that they don't really care. And if they do care, most people don't say anything, and it doesn't really matter. It's completely your decision. The other thing is that I have been producing content weekly or almost weekly while transitioning my hair, and not this content, not for this channel. I've been really quiet on this channel for the last 6 months, but in my regular kind of day job, teaching people tutorials and instructions and running workshops, I've shown up through the entire transition with part of my hair changing, part of it gray, part of it brown, and nobody cared. And if they did, they kept it to themselves. So I just also want to reflect that I think we can get in our heads worrying what other people are going to think, or feeling self-conscious that it looks really strange or awkward. And ultimately, what my experience taught me is that it just at the end of the day didn't really matter. What mattered is showing up, doing what you care about, and not letting something like transitioning your gray hair stop you from doing the things that you love, or that your nervousness about making this change might stop you from going through the gray hair transition if you're worried what other people will think. So I wanted to share that because that was my experience, and I know not everyone's experience is the same, but it was not what I expected. I was expecting comments. I was expecting judgment. I was maybe worried that I wouldn't be willing to put myself out there as much because of the awkward phase, but that just isn't what happened. And right now, I'm just so happy with my natural hair, with how everything went, and being on the other side. At the end of the day, the time is going to pass either way. So are you going to grow out your natural hair or not? You don't have to, but if you choose to, I would say embrace it, own it, don't worry about what other people think. And I genuinely hope that you can be as happy with your natural hair as I am right now, because I love it. I don't care what anyone else thinks. This is my opinion, and that's ultimately, at the end of the day, what matters is what you think of your hair and how you feel about your hair and your decision to do whatever it is that you choose. Hopefully you found this update maybe helpful, maybe not, but I wanted to share what it's like 2 years after my last dye job, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am just genuinely very happy with where I am right now.